if there was one important point that you would like to leave with our viewers today. You know, Steve, can we start with you? What would you like to say? What's the one really key point that you would like to leave with our viewers today?
Well, I think you have to get into action. You have to go back to what caused the default. And you have to go back to what Kent said. Kent pointed out something very important. There's a second aspect you have to look to, and that is there equity in this property? And that sometimes leads to these things like short sale, selling the property, refinancing the property.
Excuse me, Steve, can I just stop you there for a moment, just so that we're clear? What do you mean when you say is there equity in the property? What exactly does that mean?
Equity is the value of property over and above the debt.
So how do we determine how much equity is in a house?
Well, you have to know how much money was put down in the beginning, what the current value of the property is, and how much you owe Pat's client.
Okay, so the difference between, let's say, the market value of the house and what you owe to the bank or the lender is the equity.
And these days, that's hard to figure out because the marketplace is declining these days.
It is.
But, you know, that's the second part of that equation. Right. And if you've got equity in your house, there are some alternatives. If there's no equity in your house, Pat and I can talk about a deed in lieu of foreclosure if there's no other liens on the property.
So again, no matter how difficult times might be for our borrowers, no matter how tough things are, whether you've lost a job, whether you've had some other major event in your life that has caused you to come to this place, the last thing you should do is put your head in the sand, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Right. And Pat, what would you say would be the one most important point you'd like to leave with our viewers today?
I think it goes to a point that we talked about a little bit earlier, and that is this notion of the time. The Illinois mortgage foreclosure law has prescribed time limits that allow the borrower to take action which must be followed by the bank. In other words, the notions that many times borrowers have that as soon as the foreclosure complaint is filed, the sheriff will be at the door the next day. There are periods of reinstatement and redemption. Reinstatement is the opportunity for the borrower to pay up all of the existing arrearages. And if they pay up all of those existing arrearages, the bank must dismiss the foreclosure case. And by the same token, if they can't pay up all the arrearages and they want to redeem, the notion of redemption is where they pay off the bank, and they have 7 months from the date that they're served in order to accomplish that. And as Steve pointed out at the beginning of the show, the foreclosure process takes about a year, and that is a true statement. Before anyone is knocking on the door, from the time they're served with that complaint up until the time that the situation is such that all hope is lost, if you will, that takes an incredible amount of time that gives the borrower an incredible amount of opportunities, whether it's seeing Steve to defend the case, to lock horns with me, or to see Kent where a bankruptcy petition is filed.
Right.
The year time frame is an inside time frame that is prescribed by law. And the bank cannot interfere with that borrower's use and occupancy of that property during that time frame, provided, of course, the borrower doesn't do anything to damage the property or diminish the value of the property.
I see. So we're hearing then from Steve how important it is. Open your mail. Don't ignore this. Take some action. And we're hearing from you that eviction, shall we say, isn't necessarily imminent. It isn't imminent, that the lenders are required by law to afford us a substantial period of time. And Kent, then turning to you, what would you say as a bankruptcy attorney here in DuPage County? What do you think is the one single most important point you'd like to leave with our viewers?
Seek counsel immediately.
Don't
wait, and that's been echoed throughout this. Come in, talk to Steve, talk to Pat's lender before he gets the file, come in and talk to us, know what your rights are. You know, and Chapter 13 is a very powerful tool. The bank does not have to consent to a Chapter 13. If your Chapter 13 plan fits the parameters of the bankruptcy code, it will be forced upon the bank. And that's not what's going to happen in the state court. In the state court, the bank has more power to deal with what they have to deal with. they are bound by their own regulations, banking regulations, that dictate how they must proceed. When you get into the bankruptcy world, it's a different world altogether. But please see a lawyer early on in the process. The DuPage County Bar Association has a wonderful lawyer referral system. You can call the DuPage County Bar. They'll put you in touch with somebody who can help you out. And even if you don't retain that person, get some advice. And don't wait, because once that house goes to a foreclosure sale, your options are done. You're out of options.
Right. So very important then to not stick your head in the sand, to contact your lender and have a meaningful conversation with your lender, and to obtain legal counsel early in the process. We'd like to thank our panel here today, Steve Bashoff, Pat Williams, Kent Gertner, and we'd like to thank all of you for joining us for Legal Action. Please tune in again next time. Thank you.